other hand, which she hadn't took up the offer of anyhow. Some folks was coming out of hoppers behind us, a fella and a bird as it turned out. I went to salute 'em on their way, but they was tonguing each other ragged and beyond saluting. I turned back to the girl on her arse, scratching my head. "I reckons you just said blip or summat," I says. "That right?" Blop. I scratched my head again, looking northwards at the corner she'd walked around, not but 3 minutes prior. I were in a bit of a quandary, see? By rights, I ought to leave her be and piss off back to my door, me being head doorman and manager of hoppers, and a doorman's job being to keep door at all times and never ever leave it. Unless there's a spot of nearby argy-bargy that needs sorting, of course. But there weren't no argy-bargy. There were a right odd bird sat atop the hard stuff and fuck all else besides. Like I says, I were looking up yonder, scratching me swede, when a fella comes airing around the corner like a cat with a banger up his arse. I stood up tall, sensing aggro in the air. No one airs that way in Mangel unless bother's up, and a finely tuned doorman such as myself can sniff bother from 3 furlongs off. When he clocked us, he slowed up and started walking all casual like, setting his floppy hair to rides and pulling his top straight. He were about 25, I reckon, with lank blonde hair hanging over his ears like a pair of old curtains. Going by his physique, he didn't seem one for big eating nor heavy lifting. I'd about shoulder high to myself. He weren't a tall fella neither. Bit of a streak of piss all in all. And he were dressed like a cunt, jeans and hooded jogging top. They're both about 8 sizes too big for him. He stopped 5 yard off and spread his arms wide, like he was showing us how long a yard were. He had a big smile across his chops and all. I didn't much care for it. "Who the fuck do you reckon you is?" I says, looking him up and down. I had a good mind to smack him, acting like he was somebody, when any cunt could see he were fuck all. I'd never clocked the bastard before in me life, and that ain't something you'll often see in Mangel. A face you ain't seen 50 times already. If you really wants to know, and I reckon you does, else you'd have fucked off by now. The fella looked like an outsider. Weren't just his togs neither. Everything about him gave it away, right down to the way he walked. Sounded like an outsider and all. "Whoa," he says. "See what I mean? Pure big city, bit posh and all. Here's a bit more." "Whoa, I'm not saying—" "Ain't saying much, is you?" I says. "I was you, I'd keep it that way and all. 'Cause if there's one thing I hates, it's a cocky outsider." His face fell like a pissed-up blind fella near a cliff edge, but he had it up and running again sharpish. Bit too sharpish for my liking. But it weren't so cocky now, to be fair to him. "Nah, man," he says, putting his hands up. I don't like folks who put their hands up when I ain't even threatened 'em yet. Presumptuous it is. "I'm no one special, just looking for my girl here. She ran away back there. But you know, girls do that sometimes, don't they? Attention-seeking, yeah?" He winked at us. There's another thing I don't like, and it's a fella winking at us. So when I piped up again, there might well have been a touch of the narky in my voice. "So this one's with you, is it?" I says, nodding at the bird. "Gonna say what's up with her, then?" "There's nothing wrong with her, man. Honest, just the drink." "Blip," she says, staring into the black sky. I looked up. No blips up there, far as I could see. "This bird ain't been drinking," I says, with the confidence of one who's spent his working life sifting the bladded from the borderline. "She has, man, honest. Tequila. You can't smell tequila on breath." "Tequila? Who the fuck drinks tequila around here?" "Oh, you'd be surprised. You can get it. Listen, I'm gonna take her now, all right?" He leaned over to haul her up, never taking his eyes from us. "No, you ain't." I pushed him back with the tip of me boot. "I ain't satisfied yet. How does I know you ain't a stranger aiming to have a way with her, poor and helpless like she is?" "Look, I'm all right. I'm not gonna hurt her." He held his hands up again, like I were meant to read his palms or something. Now he were up close, and I could get a good gander of him. I reckoned he were a bit older than I'd first judged him to be. His face were quite smooth, but there was a few lines here and there, and the odd bust vein. It were hard to put me pointer on how old he were, but I'd say somewhere between 25 and 50. "I just need to get her home. She'll be ill." "Well, she'll go sick then, won't she? 'Cause I ain't letting you have her."